Hi everyone, we have a game. Okay, let's make sure everything works. Okay, c4, c6. I've lost my last game to a beautiful strategic maneuver. Ooh, you have to see that game. My opponent played a very, very nice strategic idea, after which I had collapsed. Yeah, it was equal, and then my opponent found a very, very nice move, and a move that was part of a long-term plan. Okay, we have an anti-Miran Semislav. Let's not dwell on the previous game. Anti-Miran Semislav, I can go e5, I can go dc and e5, I can go rook e8 and d5. This is all very standard. Queen c7 looks normal. b6 looks normal. Taking an e5 looks normal. I think I like that. So dc, bc, e5, d5 takes, knight takes, seems okay. Or e5 immediately. You don't want to play e5 before you take on c4. So I'm gonna take on c4. My opponent can take with the pawn, which is one advantage of having played b3. And then d5 is stronger. So now I can even consider c5. But I like e5 better. So e5, d5 takes. Seems okay to me. d5 is the thematic move. We're playing... I think this is still a theoretical position. It's definitely a theoretical idea that black takes on c4, liberating the c8 bishop, and then plays e5 to make space. And the reason you take on c4 first is so that on e5 there wouldn't be cd5 isolating your pawn. One problem with having a queen on c7 in those structures is that now with d5, cd5, there's knight b5 gaining a tempo on the queen. However, when the queen is hanging on c2, that doesn't work, of course. I'm 7 points away. In my last game I faced, from 2300, which is the first step. In my last game I faced a 2500 rated opponent, and with a win there, I definitely would have crossed 2300, but... Okay, so my opponent wants to take and attack my queen, and if I play queen c7, then d5, cd5, knight b5 is very scary. So let's not do that. Let's play queen e7 instead. Queen e7, d5 takes, c takes, knight b5, bishop b8, knight c7. That's a very scary thing to face. There's knight b5 and knight c7. Do any Greek gifts work? No, not with the bishop on e2. So if e4, knight d2, bishop h2, king h2, knight g4, my opponent just takes, unfortunately. So either queen e7 or queen c7, but then on d5 I don't really know what to do. Okay, I'm playing queen e7, and I'm expecting d5, cd, knight b5, bishop b8. Wait, we will see. I need to get my queen out of there, in any case. d5 is definitely the move here. The thing is, with these structures, when d5 works, it weakens b5, and then there's knight b5, knight c7, so I have to give up my dark squared bishop, after which something like a4, bishop a3 can be very scary. So on d5, I can even consider not taking to allow dc, bc, so that I keep controlling b5. But I will see. Okay, this is a less committal move. I need to do something about my bishop. So if I go b6, well, I can go a6. I can actually go a6 to prevent knight b5. So a6, d5, cd, cd. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like a6. Tough position. Knight f8 doesn't work because I give up my dark squared bishop. I'm considering bishop b4. I know that may seem strange, but yeah, no, that's a stupid move, because then my opponent takes twice on e5 and has a discovery with the knight. But I could consider knight g4. Knight g4. And if h3 isn't played, then I can play e4 and take on h2. But what if h3 is played? Knight g4 actually seems interesting. But then there is d5. And if I take, then knight d5. Okay, not that. Okay, I think I go e4 anyway. Because on knight d2, my e4 pawn is protected, and I can then go knight f8. Yeah, I'm going e4. This is very committal, but I don't see a better option. This way, if d5 is ever played, I will have knight e5, and my bishops are active. Probably knight d2, I don't see an alternative to this. So bishop h2 doesn't work. Bishop h2, king h2, knight g4, my opponent takes. I don't have any tricks. What's my opponent thinking about? Yeah. Makes sense. So now I can safely go knight f8. So let's do that. maybe my opponent should play h3. But h3 seems very scary in light of bishop c7, queen d6, or bishop b8, queen c7. Now I can go bishop f5, securing my e-pawn. I'm used to playing the other side of this position. I usually have positions similar to what white is playing, except my bishop will be on g3 and not on b2. I'm also looking at bishop g4. Bishop g4, bishop g4, bishop h2, king h2, knight g4 check, king g3, queen g5. Interesting. Interesting. Bishop g4 seems very interesting. I mean, my bishops look very scary. All of my opponent's pieces are on the other side of the board. This seems like a good attacking position. It may be that I have something here. Probably my opponent should play knight f1 at some point. I'd be really scared as white, and I would want to play knight f1. Yep. A prudent move. So now I have to prevent many tricks. d5 is coming. I think I'll play a6 to fight against d5. The reason I'm playing a6 so that on d5 takes, there's no knight b5. And also on d5 I can play c5, gaining control over the e5 square and looking at d3. I'm gonna play bishop f5 later because I'm slightly afraid of queen b3. I also want to see what my opponent does, because it's not at all clear what white should do here. Now I've prevented knight b5 forever. And on d5 I actually have c5. And I don't see a way for my opponent to break through. Oh, but I've given away the b6 square. My opponent has knight a4, knight b6. That's not good. I should not have allowed that. But I can still play bishop c7. But that's my best attacking piece. I shouldn't have played a6. Yep, I definitely shouldn't have played a6. Because if I take on b6, when the knight lands there, I will have lifted the blockade of the d-pawn. So let's say d5, c5, knight a4. Not good. That's not good. So I may have to take on d5. Do I take on d5? d5, cd. Knight d, knight d, rook d. a7 was a a6 was a very careless move. I should have kept the pawn on a7 controlling b6. Let's hope my opponent doesn't see that the knight can go to b6. Okay, h3. So should I go b5? b5, d5, b4, knight a4. Yeah, that's no good. Okay, let's just continue the attack. Let's bring more pieces into play. If my opponent plays knight a4, I will deal with it somehow. Probably with bishop c7. I don't think I can play b5. I'm just gonna increase the pressure on my opponent's king side. Now it's 2 knights, 2 bishops, and a queen that's able to come in. Now my knight is coming into e5 if d5 is played. That's a very strong knight. Also after h3 it's very hard to play knight g3. Ooh, I may also have queen d7, knight h4, knight g2, king g2, queen h3, king g1. I don't see mate because the knight covers h2, but it's definitely scary. Many attacking pieces next to my opponent's king. Do I even care about the knight taking the rook on a8? Maybe I just don't care. What's my rook on a8 doing? It's doing nothing. Or maybe I do care, I don't know. We will see. If my opponent plays knight a4, I'll figure it out. Okay. So knight h4. Let's just increase the pressure. My opponent isn't doing anything, so let's just keep going. I may even have h5, knight g4, or knight f3. My god, there are so many possibilities here. I don't see mate if I play queen d7. I still don't see mate. Queen d7, let's say I've played queen d7 and it's my move. Knight takes g2, king takes g2, queen takes h3, king g1 only move. I don't see a way in. But the knight is definitely scary on h4. 2 bishops, 2 knights, and the queen. This is... I mean, visually, it seems almost losing. My opponent has been doing nothing for a couple of moves. Rook AB1, H3, Knight F1, Knight D2, all passive moves, and I just kept going forward. Except for A6. Maybe A6 was unnecessary. I mean, it definitely was. I may even have Knight F3, Gf3, Ef3, Bishop F3, maybe. Yeah, finally going for that B6 square. Do I care? Do I care? Mosquitoes are killing me. Okay, this seems like a tactic. It seems like a puzzle position. Move, not now, not now. I honestly don't think I care about my A8 rook. I care about my bishop more. So bishop F5 is an option. If G4. Can I just sack that bishop? Can I go H5 bishop G4? H5, knight B6, bishop F5, with the plan of going queen D7. That seems good. I'm playing H5. I don't care about knight B6. My opponent can take my rook. I just don't know if I'll go bishop G4 or bishop F5. Bishop F5. Probably bishop F5. Bishop G4. HG4. Knight G4. No, I'm going bishop F5. I don't want to give up a piece. I just wanted to play H5 before bishop F5 or bishop G4 so that I can open up the H file and that G4 isn't easily playable. Do I have to recapture this knight? I probably will. I mean, I'll recapture because I don't see a defense. My next move is going to be queen D7. Or queen E6. Or knight F3, or knight G4, or bishop G4. I don't even know. There are so many possibilities here. I don't think my exchange is meaningful at all. In fact, my minor pieces are my good pieces. My rooks were doing nothing. My opponent's rooks aren't doing anything at the moment, so... All I see is queen d7, bishop h3. Okay. Bishop g3, fg3. Knight f3 check. Do I have enough? I don't see an immediate win. So queen d7, I'm expecting knight f5. Queen f5. And then I'll have queen g5. Okay, I'm playing queen d7. I'm expecting knight takes bishop. Because if knight takes bishop isn't played, I'm taking on h3. And then that's gonna be mate on g2, I think. Okay. Now how does my opponent prevent queen g5? Followed by knight f3. I can also go g5, g4. Oof. My opponent's under a minute. And this isn't gonna be easy for them to defend. I'm down in exchange, but that's meaningless completely. How do I get my queen to a dark square? I want to play queen g5, threatening knight f3. And then queen h4, knight g4. I want to play knight f3 check. And then queen h4, knight g4 check. Okay. How do I get my queen to a dark square? Come on. Is there no way? Knight f5? Ooh, knight f5, knight f5, knight f5, knight g3 check. And also h4, knight h5, knight g3 check twice. Okay, knight h4, bishop f6, queen f6, there's queen... Oh no, So knight g3 check. fg3, queen g3. King g1. Queen e3 check. King h1. Knight g3 check, fg3, queen g3, king g1 only move to prevent mate. Queen e3 check. If queen f2 I have bishop h2 check. If king h1 I have queen g3, and on king g1 I have bishop c5. No, there's bishop d4. Wait. Knight g3, fg3, queen g3. King g1. Queen e3. On queen f2, I have bishop h2 winning the queen. On king g1, what do I do? I'll do it anyway. It seems nice. Seems like it works. There's no bishop c5 because there's bishop d4. There's no queen f2. Do not play queen f2. Okay. Queen g3, king g1, bishop c5, bishop d4. Takes, rook takes, queen e3 check, there's queen f2. If I go bishop c5 now, then my opponent plays bishop e2. That's the only move. So let's look at queen g3, king g1, bishop c5, bishop d4. I don't see a win. Queen g3, king g1, queen h2, king f2, bishop g3, king e2 is the only move. Do I have a follow-up? Okay, let's just play queen g3. King g1. Wait, what if I go e3? e3, bishop d3 is the only move. e3, bishop d3. And then e2. If bishop e2, that's gonna be mate. Queen h2, king f2, bishop g3, king e2. I don't see it. e3, bishop d3. Queen h2, king f1, forced. Queen h1, king e2, forced. Queen g2, king where? I don't know. I'm playing e3. My god. My opponent needs to make a square for the king. Now I also have the e4 square for the knight. Bishop e2 is mate. Queen h2, queen h1. Bishop d3 only move. Yeah. So now let's go for this, since I went for it. Oh, this is fine, this is fine! King e2 takes. He's gonna have to take the bishop. Wait. Okay, takes. He's gonna have to take the pawn. And then the rook comes in. The rook comes in. Come on! Yes, I did it! It was luck. I didn't see all of this, but I did it. Yes! I didn't even see rook e8. Uh-huh. What now? What now? I couldn't see anything better, so I'm gonna do this. The king's running away. The king's running away! No! I don't know, I'm just checking because I'm gonna flag. We keep fighting, it's not over. I have bishop d6 and knight c5. That could be over. My opponent takes. At this point, I really don't know what I'm doing. Come on, there has to be mate here. There has to be mate here. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I had to prevent the king from running away. Somehow. This may be the craziest game I've ever played. I just cannot allow king d2. That much I know. Come on! Come on, there has to be something here. b5. Is there really nothing here? I don't know. No, I allowed the check. No, now I allowed the check. No, I messed it up. I should have gone for a perpetual at least. Oh, maybe I have knight c5. This is crazy. This is just crazy. My opponent can, by the way, just give up the queen and maybe survive. At this point, I think I do go for perpetual. My god. Unless I have something better. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I do. Do I have anything here? I don't see it anymore. I'll just repeat. My god. This is probably the craziest game I ever played. If
I
you're like
must-
me and you think practicing against the engine is boring because it either crushes you or plays like an idiot, try playing against Noctie. Noctie is a human-like AI that's going to adapt to your strength, is going to play like a human, try to trick you like a human, and challenge you on your own level. The first thing you can do is, of course, assess your rating, and you can play a rating test against Noctie. Yeah, the only move is g4 and then queen f4 mate. Yeah. Good. Yes! 2557! Come on! It's going to tell you your strength, but there are many, many more features. The first thing is, when you play Noctie, you get instant feedback, and all of your moves will get sort of color-coded. Noctie will immediately tell you if you made a mistake. That way you can ask Noctie to see where you went wrong. You can play games in openings you're trying to learn. So you can import any repertoire you want and play Noctie in that specific opening. Just go to repertoires. I've imported the Hillbilly when I was doing the video on the Hillbilly, but you can obviously create any repertoire. Just paste the PGN, and if you, for example, play the London system, you can play the London system against Noctie. Flashcards are an excellent tool, and I've spoken to Samuel, the owner and inventor of Noctie. He's going to make them even better. Flashcards are basically the mistakes you made in your games. Noctie is going to make you pay attention to them, and in the future they're going to be grouped according to theme, so it's going to be even easier to navigate your mistakes. One of my favorite features, if not my favorite one, and the one I use the most, is themes. So you can play Noctie in any specific position you choose. So if you go to your themes, you can see that I've made quite a few. So let's say you want to play out this position. This is a position from Spassky's game where he triangulated perfectly. If you're trying to practice something, you can create a new team. Just add an FEN or a PGN and play it out against Noctie. That way, if you have an endgame you would like to practice, you don't have to find an actual human to play against, nor will you have to play against a 2800 engine or against a 500 engine human. If you would like to check Noctie out, you can follow the link in the description, and if you would like to get a 64% discount, use the code HANGING Pawns. Thank you very much for this. Thank you, Noctie, for sponsoring the video, and let's get back. I must have missed. I don't. How do we even begin to analyze this? My God. White is winning this? Okay, I'm not surprised. I can't say I'm surprised. So let's see. Okay, knight h4, best move. I had bishop h3, but I played h5. Then I had bishop h3 again, but I played bishop f5. Wait, let's look at bishop h3. gh3, queen here. Oh yeah, I just had bishop h3. Okay, I played bishop f5. I still had bishop h3. +3. I went from -3 to +3 in a single move. Oh, I had knight e3. That's better than knight g3. Why didn't I take on e3? Winning? Queen e3. Queen g3. e3. Okay. Mate in 12? Bishop c5, and then what's the follow-up? Bishop d4. I know. Yeah, okay. I played rook e8 check. I should have taken more time. Blunder. Queen g3? How am I supposed to find queen g3? Yeah, I never would have found queen g3. Still better, still winning. Yeah, rook a8 is a blunder. Oh, I should have threatened mate with bishop d6, that's true. Because the queen is immune. Mate in 6? Mate in 4? Yeah. I didn't see this, unfortunately. Yeah, and then I blundered bishop c4. I should have gone for a draw. Wait, how exactly should have my opponent survived this? With king b4? Wow. Wow. Okay. This was a wild game. Thank you for watching. This was very, very messy. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.